Recently, I've gotten to the Metroidvania genre last year with Super Metroid on Super Nintendo, and I really enjoyed my time with that game as it finally got me to like that genre as someone who is into platformers. But I think what also I enjoyed about Metroidvanias moving forward is seeing what the genre does from its origins from Metroid to Castlevania to even The Legend of Zelda. So today I want to talk a little bit about my favorite Metroidvania series, which is Shantae, and how learning to love Shantae really caught me by surprise as someone who was not a fan of WayForward and has been converted to one. So I'd like to talk about it. So the Shantae series is a Metroidvania series from WayForward, and people have called it like a Zeldavania or like a Zelda II style game, as it's a 2D side-scrolling platformer with dungeons and items similar to The Legend of Zelda, more specifically Zelda II. And if you look at the Shantae series as the start on the Game Boy Color, you can see how there is definitely a Zelda influence with the overworld, the labyrinths as being the dungeons, and the animal transformations being like the different items you get in dungeons. And with the Shantae series, as it gets more games over the years, they do tinker around with the game systems, such as new transformations, the risky items in Shantae 3, along with different power-ups they do, along with just the general Metroidvania design, such as with Shantae 5 having like a full interconnected world. And I think it's pretty cool that WayForward decided with their Metroidvania take that they inspired by Zelda 2, as that one is like a 2D action RPG with the overworld. And there are other like action RPGs or Metroidvanias around that time that do this sort of thing, such as the Wonder Boy games, and even like Demon's Crest, which is what Shantae 4 is inspired by. And they have that sort of Zelda roots in it, along with, of course, the obvious Metroidvania roots, which is what some of the later Shantae games do, mainly Shantae 3, with the risky powers. And even a little hint of Castlevania, like with the monster cards and even like the spooky themes. And I think also what I really enjoy about Shantae, other than the obvious fan service, is the humor. It's a game that doesn't take itself seriously, but it's usually a bundle of fun, and it pokes fun at like the culture that it does with the pirate theme and breaking the fourth wall. And I really do enjoy my time with the Shantae series. I've played a lot of them all this year, and Shantae 3, which is Pirate's Curse, is one of my favorite games of all time. That game really blew my mind away on what WayForward and Inti Creates did to mesh together what is basically the Super Metroid of the Shantae series, where it takes those first two games' ideas and really makes it tenfold with something it can call its own. And I would consider the best in his series, as I would also with Super Metroid. And I think it's pretty awesome that Shantae has gotten a lot of popularity over the years, as Shantae 7 is in development, and Shantae 6 for Game Boy Advance came back from the dead with limited run games. And it shows that Shantae is not only just the premier series for WayForward, but also invokes their aesthetics that is the best part of WayForward, which is that 2D pixel art and the Jake Kaufman soundtrack, which he doesn't do the music for Shantae anymore, but the spirit of WayForward is in that since the first Shantae game on Game Boy Color. And you see it with Mighty Switch Force and like even their licensed games like Adventure Time and such. And Shantae series has really, really took my heart as someone who like didn't really like Metroidvanias for a very long time. Like I didn't like Shovel Knight, I didn't even like Symphony of the Night. But you know, Super Metroid was that first step. And then going into Shantae is like, wow, like I actually really like these games now. And I even felt this year with another genre, with the survival horror, with Resident Evil, you know, the PS1 classic game. And it's really awesome that I am giving myself this room and giving these games a little bit more, you know, like a chance or more like effort putting towards them to try something new, other than just your basic 2D platformer or your 3D action game or even like a action adventure game. I am trying these series out and seeing what did I miss out, would I be interested in them, and would I love it. And with the Shantae series and in general with WayForward, I have a liking to them as my sort of like indie game company along with Inti Creates. as well. I do play some indie games, I don't really like them, but with WayForward and Indie Creates, but especially WayForward, I have felt that I have found that sort of style of game that is indie but also really cool and appeals to my sort of senses as a gamer. And I'm definitely looking forward to Shantae 7 as I have it wishlist. And it's going to be a while before we hear from news, but I cannot wait to see what Shantae will do in this post-renaissance for the Metroidvania genre. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.